welcome to Youth Assembly and Happy New Month. Yes, it's my first time I've been here and seeing you or you seeing me this month of May. How you all doing? I hope you enjoyed your Workers' Day and you are ready for the work week. Welcome back to work. My name is Sylvia Ishebe and it's Youth Assembly. Today we look at the safety of Nigerian schools in time of rising insecurity. What can be done to check the problem that is at hand? I'm not alone. I am with Comrade Ibini Odafe Emmanuel, who is the National President, Vanguard for Transparent Leadership and Democracy, VATLAD. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, I hope you're well rested from the long weekend we had due to Workers' Day. Okay, so we tackle the insecurity and how it affects schools and how safe our Nigerian schools can be in this time. All right, a little background into what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria has witnessed insecurity, a series of insecurity here and there in the nation, and a wave of school kidnapping has worsened the situation, with some state authorities closing down boarding schools until security is guaranteed. We've had kidnappings from the Kankara School to the Forestry, the Polytechnic in Kaduna, and also the Greenfield University, where the bandits or who kidnapped over 23 students and killed 5 are saying that if a ransom of 100 million is not paid before the end of today, that another will be killed or will kill more students. So what can be done with this new development so that schools are safe and also so that the students can be rescued? That is one question we intend to ask today on Youth Assembly with my guests. Comrade Odafe, insecurity is still Nigeria's biggest challenge at this point, and it has gotten to schools, to students being kidnapped, ransoms being asked, and even students losing their lives. What do you think about this latest development and where we are at as a nation?
Simply a confirmation of the fact that we are at war, that external enemies, terrorists, have declared full war against the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the question I keep asking, why is the president of our dear country and the National Assembly of our dear country refusing to do the needful by invoking the provisions of Section 305, subsection 1 to 3 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended, which already addresses that in case we find ourselves as a people under one God being attacked by foreign enemies, by whatever name called, that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the president, he didn't say President Buhari, said whoever is the president as at that time should proclaim a state of emergency and inform the National Assembly to do the needful. We are at war. There's no pretending about it. We have been at war, particularly for the past few years. The president himself, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces also, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, said it publicly, not once, not twice, that indeed, most of these people who are coming in and killing our people in their numbers almost every day, that they are coming from outside this country and that they are not Nigerians. Remember? Even senior military generals who were at the theater of war, even in Abuja, came out repeatedly to say that this nation is at war because enemies from outside have declared war on this country. Why are we reluctant?
So, comrade, how do you think the state of emergency will help check this problem? Let us look at that state now, that declaring the state of emergency. If it happens, how would it solve the problem we have at hand?
The Constitution says that when any part of this country, any part thereof, well, be it a local government, villages are invaded by external enemies, in full force, full military warfare, that a state of emergency should be declared so that the officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces who have the constitutional duty under Section 217 to defend our country and her territorial integrity should not do the needful. Simple. You know, it is the president who initiates such process and then supported by the National Assembly. No general of the Nigerian military can just move officers and men and equipment without the approval of the president, supported by the National Assembly. So it is sad that we have refused to do the needful. And then these external enemies have come in, spreading their evil dragnet, and then now killing our children in schools.
So why do you think schools or school children are vulnerable at this point in these attacks? You know, Greenfield, we saw the sad reports of the death of some of the students, and then the threat. Why at this point, why are they vulnerable? And what can be done to remove this vulnerability from Nigerian schools?
Of course, they are vulnerable because they are soft targets. Are they armed? They are not the only ones who are vulnerable. When this whole thing started, they started picking our mothers, even pregnant women. They kill them, tore open their pregnancy, remove children, very gory. You remember all that happened. They went to a community in Borno State, slaughtered how many people? Rice farmers. So they know that these children don't have any form of protection. They are not armed, and they ought not to be armed. So they just go there and pick them. They call them soft target, ungoverned spaces, unprotected spaces.
Okay,
so we are all soft targets.
Yes, so the first kidnapping happens in a school, and then everybody talks about it, and then it happens again, and it keeps spreading. So what can schools do to make sure that they keep the school environment safe? You know, at this point, I even want to ask if it is even safe for schools in this state to be shut down until the state witnesses some level of security. What do you think, comrade?
If there is war, do you think of going to school? If there is full military war,
big words.
Do we think of going to school? We know we are just. It's unfortunate that those who have the responsibility, you know, to keep our country safe and secured, are reluctant to do that for which they made themselves our leaders and for which we also protect them. The country is at war. So you don't talk about education when there's war. You only talk about education when there is peace. You send children to school, you send mothers to the farm, you send fathers to the farm, and they are being killed, slaughtered like animals. They cannot fight back. In their homes, they are being picked and slaughtered, and then they are not asking you to pay ransom. We're at war. The president has said so. The National Assembly, unfortunately, is also being economical with the truth. When they keep calling on Mr. President to declare state of emergency on insecurity, what does that mean? Is it like state of emergency on insecurity? They should please go to Section 305. If anybody's fear, particularly those of the political office holders, if their fear is that should that section of the Constitution be invoked, that they will stop existing for the period that this war will be on as representatives or senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which means they will not be earning their salaries and allowances, then that is a misplaced concern. There is war, there is war. And they must say so and act accordingly. It's not to ask the Mr. President to always pump him money. That's not the situation.
All right.
The officers and men of the Nigerian military are very competent and ready to go do full battle. But they are not being allowed to do that. And see the way these ragtag people are now busy killing even generals, officers. It's unheard of. in any country. Will you try this in America?
Question to ponder. But at this point, I would like to bring in Mr. Ben Okezie, who is a security expert. This is his field, and then I know he has a lot to contribute. Welcome, Mr. Ben. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I
All
always
right.
object, I always, I always object to security expert. God is the expert. We are just tools in his hand. Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah, you
Mr.
are saying
Ben.
something.
Yes, we were talking about schools, the rising in
Hello?
kidnappings witnessed in schools, safety of Nigerian schools in time of insecurity. So we've looked at how schools can help themselves. Well, we're going into that to stay safe during this time. But as an expert, what kind of what security measures would you suggest be introduced in schools to curtail the incessant kidnappings that we are seeing?
The thing is breaking. You are breaking. You are breaking. I'm not hearing you fine.
Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Can you repeat your question, please?
Okay, so my question is, what security measures would you suggest should be introduced in schools to curtail the kidnappings, the incessant kidnappings witnessed right now?
The network is not good from your side.
I can
The
hear
network is very, very bad. I can just hear some part of it.
but I can hear you. I can hear you loud and
Yes,
clear. So maybe you
I can
can go
hear you
ahead
now.
and speak. Yes, go
I
ahead and
can
speak.
hear you.
Speak. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you now. But is the question
The question
to
is, what
respond to the
security
question?
measures, what security measures would you suggest schools should put in place to curtail the kidnappings that so many schools are witnessing? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, there was a presidential directive when the Chibok girls were kidnapped, and that presidential directive has been they've stopped it, which is that every school must have policemen on duty, and we have the capability because there is no local government where we don't have policemen in their place. That is one. Two, if we don't have enough policemen, then the civil defense are there. They also carry arms, so they can complement the police. If we don't have the civil defense, then the government can bring in the private security companies to from that. There should be a law that should ask every school to put a perimeter fence around their school. Once you start a school and you know it's within the town, there should be a fence around it. That done, and every school should have CCTV installed. It doesn't cost much. Every school should have that. Even the state governors can do that for schools that are government schools. Apart from that, the school curriculum should be they should work on it. The educationists should work on the school curriculum, whereby children should start teaching security in school. And those who are writing books, I am writing one. Children's
Mhm.
security, I'm writing like almost 3 at a time. So this type of thing should be encouraged so that our children should be able to they should know much about security. In other climes, that is what is obtainable, so that how they can depend. I saw a video of a group that is going around schools teaching children judo. That is another. These are things that the sports teachers should be able to teach the children in the schools. They should teach them self-defense. And this, when you put all these things in place, and then children, our children are well informed. They know the difference between kidnapper. They know the body language of kidnappers. They will be able to save themselves, whether they are going to school, they are going to market, they are on the streets. When somebody calls them, they know they don't need to answer that person because they don't know that person. They also know that they will also have the telephone number of the security agencies in their head, and that's why we are appealing to network operators that they should make the number that that children can cram, that to be able to call security companies, security agencies, very easy. Like 999, 9119. All those short distance. So even an old woman will be able to cram it. Not all this 11-digit this thing. It doesn't make sense at all.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ben.
Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you for your contribution. But at this point, I saw you nodding your head, comrade. What do you have to say to the suggestions he made in terms of schools taking the initiative and keeping students safe in the meantime?
Well, I want to thank my brother. He has made his contribution. But with due respect, I almost totally do not think these are solutions to the crisis we now face. I repeat myself, we are at war, full war. The president has admitted that. Top military generals have, admitted same. We are seeing the evidence. We are seeing that these foreign terrorists, by whatever name called, they are now well armed, taking on our own military. We are hearing very disturbing report that they kill our generals or officers, destroy our military hardware. We can't be talking of this kind of situation now. We are at war, I repeat myself. You don't send children or people to places when there's full military war. There's nothing wrong in suspending all educational issues within the area that are now affected. Okay, during war, you don't send children to school. Now, he talked about a presidential directive just after the Chibok kidnap case, where he said he directed that armed personnel should be sent to schools. Let me tell you, I'm calling you from Warri. I worked in one of the leading multinational oil companies many years ago, onshore, offshore. And you know the story here, unfortunately. It got to a point when things started going down, and we started experiencing kidnapping of workers, expatriates, and then later Nigerian workers. And then the Nigerian leadership thought that, oh, okay, let's send our army or military to guide all installations, such that when we are going to the field, we'll have full military escort. Has that solved the problem? No, it hasn't. It has not, and it will not solve it. Just imagine that you're sending your little children to school, and then they ask you, Daddy, why are we having, or Mommy, why are we having policemen? Have we committed any crime? What answer will you then give? Because they are trained. Our trained know that I'm coming. Okay. That is not the kind of sight that we should be expecting. Look, enemies have declared war. They are not pretending about it. An organized society that is very, very patriotic with leadership that is committed to the country, we took the war to them in their battlefield. Look, you know why America is all over the world? America will not allow you to come to their country and do damage. So they will take the war to you so that you don't have the capacity to even come near their country. We are at war. Now you're talking about CCTV. In situations like this,
we have
I
found
wish,
ourselves in this situation where some people some people have to take the initiative to start securing their environment or their perimeter, like in the case of schools like we're discussing now, and the expert has suggested. Okay, let's hear from him. What are your thoughts, Mr. Ben Okesie? You're the expert here. What would be a lasting solution to restore peace in the nation, especially have our students safe? Because when we have students safe, then we're gradually getting it right as a nation. Mr. Ben, did you hear me, Mr. Ben? Okay, so I think it's having issues with its connection, but yes, it's youth assembly, and we are looking at the safety of
Yeah.
Nigerian schools, time of rising
Well,
insecurity.
I
Please
was
send in your
hearing
questions or
thank you.
comments,
I was hearing
and then we will
some
take
of
them.
his explanations. That notwithstanding, I did not get that aspect of where. Pardon? Are you hearing me?
Go ahead. Yes,
Are you hearing me?
yes, we are.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, Mr. Ben, go ahead. We can hear you. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Wow. Network. Gabriel, come and tell me.
Mr. Ben, we can hear you. Go ahead. Okay. So,
Pardon? Are you hearing me?
yes, loud and
Okay.
clear.
I will say that any local government, or yes, I will say that any local government where there is a lot of insecurity operations going on, then schools in that area should be closed down, shut down for not.
Okay, so he left. Comrade, you heard him. So he's also of the opinion that schools in those areas, local governments, you can say, that have high cases of insecurity and kidnappings should be closed down. All right. So what do you think are lasting solutions to the? You've said is war has been declared, and that is how the federal government should go. So what dimension in this aspect should the government and security agencies take to deal with the insecurity?
I will repeat myself. The number of times you ask me this question, in any way you want to ask it. We are at war. These external enemies have declared war on the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We cannot continue to allow our leaders pretend about this. They have admitted it. They should invoke the provisions of Section 305, subsection 1 to 3, and then direct the military to go full force, not staying behind and waiting for these enemies to come into our territory and then we turn our land to battlefield. We take the war to them before they even come near us. We are at war, my sister. You are hearing that.
How do you think the government should take the war to them before they come at us? What kind of dimension should take
That's what I'm telling you. There is a procedure, laid down procedure.
Okay.
The procedure is very, very clear, please. Section 305 of the Nigerian Constitution has laid it that in case we find ourselves in this situation where external enemies violate our borders, they come in to kill, to maim, the way they have done, then the president of Nigeria, whoever is the president of Nigeria, he didn't mention Buhari. They didn't know, the constitution didn't know that Buhari was going to be a president tomorrow or today. That the president will proclaim a state of emergency and then seek the approval of the National Assembly, and then we are at full-blown war. We saw what happened in 9/11 in the United States. When those terrorists came and attacked the World Trade Center, Pentagon, you saw the reaction of America. That is leadership. So you don't go saying, oh, let us send two policemen, two officers of the NCDC or private security to states. When you are hearing cases of these guys having the audacity to confront our military and then take some of them down our equipment, are you not hearing of how even some criminals within other parts of the states of the country are busy sacking police headquarters, divisional police stations, killing officers and men, and then you put two men, and most of these schools are even far away from centers. This is not how to approach issues. We are talking about installing CCTV for crying out loud. What does that mean? You think the military or the police don't know where these criminals or terrorists are? Come on. We are not joking. We are at war. Keep these children safe at home.
Okay.
Until you get this war sorted out, and then everywhere is safe, then you return them back or relocate them from those states that are affected or those local governments that are affected now. Take them to safe schools. I mean, places where you have a relative safety. You mustn't continue to expose our children. We all know that most of these areas that have been affected, look at Chibok or whatever, you see, even accessing those schools is difficult because there are no roads. So they are isolated. So pull those children away from those schools, send them to other schools within the state capital or anywhere that is safe within the country, while the military takes on full blast these wicked terrorists and flush them once and for all. During the Civil War, God forbid, in 3 years, did you hear of schools running affected areas? Did you hear that?
Well, we are not at civil war. As you can
we
see.
are. I said we are. We are at war.
This will happen. Okay, comrade, we know your stance in this matter. We are at war and you want schools to be shut down, especially in those areas.
Yes, and relocate the children to safety.
Yes. And so for the students who are already kidnapped, I mean, the leader of the bandit who kidnapped the students from Greenfield University, he actually made a statement and said, if the ransom of 100 million is not paid today, that they'll kill more students. What do you think that the government can do at this point to rescue these children, these students, from their kidnappers?
Honestly, I find it difficult to discuss this issue because as you're asking me the question, my heart is bleeding. I can understand, but I can only just empathize with the family, but I cannot fully understand what they are going through because I'm not directly involved. But it's better imagine, my sister, what it means that you send your children to school and then the next thing you heard is that some terrorists have taken them, subjecting them to psychological, emotional, and physical stress every day, every second, every minute of their lives. Such parents will be willing to do anything just to get their children released. I'm aware of the position of the governor of Kaduna State. It's a difficult position. Don't forget the fact that this is the same governor who was reported to have even initiated this negotiation with some certain criminals who were terrorizing certain communities in the state. And then he came under serious condemnation that he's aiding and abetting them. And now the man said, okay, I've seen that really these guys, the more you try to pamper them, the more they think that they are smarter. So this time I'm not going to negotiate. That is his position. But the parents don't see it that way because they are traumatized every minute of their life. We're in a dilemma. It is for the president to do the needful. Now, if they are asking for ransom,
yes,
you are going to give them the money. And I know that with deployment of high tech, you can locate where they are. Because you are going to send money to wherever they say, drop the money to some place. And with high tech, movement of such persons are easily tracked. So government can also, okay, come, we'll drop the money to some place, and they drop it there. Why you are going to collect it, even if they allow you to collect it, they take a necessary, so long as they have released the children, they do not know what to do next. What I'm saying is that there's too much of politics in this matter. People are playing politics with the lives of Nigerians. That is the truth. We are at war. Let us save the children first of all. Give them the money. Go and pay the ransom. But as soon as you get the children out, you know where these children, these enemies are. Then take them out. Take them out. Because the more you keep these children exposed, or not only children, mind you, you are talking of even Nigerians who are defenseless. These are soft targets. So when they finish, picking children, they'll go back to villages and pick mothers or fathers in their farms, and they ask for ransom. We now say because those ones are mothers, you will not pay ransom. So this is what our people, our leaders are doing. That is very, very disheartening. You won't try this one with an organized society. I'm not even talking about America. Even some African country, would you try it? You do not see what happened to this same terrorists under the late Chadian leader, Idris Deby. We saw how he dealt with them. And we also told that when President Buhari was then a general, GOC, sometime in 1980s, that when they attempted something very funny, which is not even close to what they are doing now, he took them out. He deployed and took them out. He took the war to them and dealt, serious blow to them. So what are we doing? You keep generals, you keep well fortified the military, and then you don't give them direct orders to do what they are supposed to do. Is that how to manage a situation like this? So people stop blaming El-Rufai. He doesn't have the money to pay. He is not the chief security officer of Kaduna State. The president is the only chief security officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and any part thereof. Let no governor deceive you that he's a chief security officer. He does not have that power. So when people attack the governor of Kaduna State or any governor who say, "Oh, I don't have money, I'm not going to negotiate with anybody," then that is misplaced attack. Such anger should be directed to the president and commander-in-chief of the Air Force, because I've always said any governor who attempts to usurp the power of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be highly resisted. So when governors are issuing orders declaring curfew, that is even unconstitutional. You make your request to your House of Assembly, then your House of Assembly, governors ought to, in fact, what El-Rufai is supposed to do is to proclaim a state of emergency, go to the House of Assembly of Kaduna State, ask them to approve his that, then he will now transmit him to the president that, look, we have an issue here, and we want you to invoke Section 305 to declare a state of emergency in Kaduna State or any part affected by Kaduna State. And if the president decides that, okay, for us to do a good job, you, the governor, and all members of your ESCO will have to stand by, so be it. So most of these governors are afraid that if they request Mr. President to declare a state of emergency in their state, it means they'll be given the same treatment like Obasanjo gave to Darie. That's what they are doing. So this is the selfishness that you're seeing all over the place. Kaduna has been in the news for the wrong reason for a very long time, and ditto so many other states. But they are refusing. Senators who are from affected senatorial district would never. I interact with most of them. I tell them, why are you reluctant in allowing the government, the president of Nigeria, to declare an emergency in your senatorial district? And they laugh. So that means I'll have no job again. So you see the kind of mentality. It's just pure selfishness.
Okay, selfishness is what you're saying at this point. Yes, we looked at the safety of Nigerian schools in time of rising insecurity. What can be done to protect schools as insecurity worsens in the nation, and then we find peace. Before we find peace, lasting peace in the country. And yes, speaking has Comrade Ibini Odafe Emmanuel has been speaking for a while now. He is the National President Vanguard for Transparent Leadership and Democracy. Thank you so much, Comrade. Your points has been noted, and they are really strong points. And I know where you stand. And a lot of Nigerians also know where you stand at this point. It is war, and the government should give back war to the terrorists. Thank you so much.
Have you learned judo and karate, like our expert was trying to say, that you should go and learn judo and karate?
Well, self-defense is a skill everybody should have. I think everybody should have that kind of skill.
So you have one now.
I do. At least I know how to kick my legs. Thank you. Yes, we had earlier Mr. Ben Okezie, who is a security expert. Thank you, Mr. Ben. Unfortunately, his connections are not helping matters at this point for him to conclude his points. But yes, we appreciate the time he had here to make his contribution. We'll be back on Monday for another interesting edition of Youth Assembly. For now, please stay safe and, if possible, learn a skill, and the skill is self-defense skill. Thank you so much, comrade. Stay safe.
Thank you for having me. God bless Nigeria.
And the show was produced by Hafsat Isa. Bye for now.